666. 3 numbers which strike so much fear that there are people who won't watch this video. 3 numbers which have become one of the most widely recognized symbols for the Antichrist, or more commonly, the devil. References to this number occur both among apocalyptic Christian groups and explicitly in anti-Christian subcultures. It's common to see the symbolic role of the integer 666 transferred to the digit sequence 666. Some people take the satanic associations of 666 so seriously that they actively avoid things related to 666 or the digit 666. This is known as this ridiculous word which I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce. The number is so widely feared that certain books will miss the number 666, and a town in Louisiana called Reeves finally won a court case spanning 40 years in order to remove it from their telephone numbers in 2007. But why is this number so widely feared? And what is the meaning of this eerie number? The number 666 comes from a passage in the New Testament of the Bible in the book of Revelation, which says,
"And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Here in the original language, 666 is written chi, psi, stigma, which are 3 letters of the Greek alphabet. In ancient languages such as Greek and Hebrew, letters were given numerical values in a system known as gematria. In Greek, gematria looked like this: alpha to theta are 1 to 9, iota to pi are 10 to 80, and rho to omega are 100 to 800. Other random symbols were added to fill in the gaps, and the most important for us being stigma, which is 6, and the other 2 of course represent 90 and 900. The Hebrew system is essentially the same, with just different letters. Using the same system of gematria in Hebrew, people have traditionally generated a number from the name Neron Caesar, which produces the number 666. By the way, note Hebrew doesn't have vowels, so these of course are not added. Thus many people have been led to believe that the number 666 may have been a coded reference to Nero the Roman Emperor from 55 AD to 68 AD. This is quite widely accepted by scholars, but there's already an issue with this. Neron is a very rare variation of Nero's name, and early Christians recognized this as a problem and even went as far to change 666 to 616 to fit with the normal rendering of his name. Over the years, many other people have been identified with the same system to be the Beast of Revelation or the Antichrist. Possibly the most famous is Pope Innocent III's identification of the Islamic prophet Muhammad using a very obscure version of his name, Mometis, and the Greek alphabet. But what does 666 mean? Does it require the use of this gematria? Well, I think not. In fact, I believe there's a simpler explanation to the mysteries of 666 that does not involve any knowledge of Greek and Hebrew or any maths. In fact, it's quite apparent and yet easily overlooked. In the book of Revelation, the number 7 appears quite frequently. The Apostle John sees 7 lampstands, 7 stars. He receives and writes letters to 7 churches. The Lamb, i.e. Jesus, opens 7 sealed scrolls, and in chapter 4 verse 5 there are 7 spirits of God. And these are just some examples of the amount of times 7 appears over and over and over again. The number 7 in our culture is always hailed as a lucky number, and in ancient Israel it was the number of perfection, important as the 7th day was the day when God rested from his creation. From scriptures we can see that God is Trinity, 3 in 1, made up of the Father, Son and Holy Spirit. And if you attributed each one of these with the number 7, you get the number 777. And I'm sure at this point you can already see where I'm going to go with this. Because in Revelation, we see the devil trying his best to mimic God, and the devil makes his trinity, represented by 2 beasts and a dragon. and they all attempt to fulfill the same roles as God. For example, having one with wounds, looking like he was killed, mimicking Jesus. For the Christians, this is what 666 most likely represented. Despite the best attempts at copying God, it was just not possible. Satan gets so close, and yet is so far. Like a cheap Chinese knockoff of a designer item or phone. Sure, it looks about right, but soon enough, things fall apart, and it's just not the same as the real thing. Anyway, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed that. If you have any other thoughts, leave a comment. And in the future, we're going to take a look at some other mysteries and religions. As always, thanks for watching. If you're new here, please subscribe and feel free to like, comment and look through the other videos, as I'm sure we have a topic that suits you.